What's going on, Fan Nation? This is Preston Paul, and I am flipping excited. This is actually one of my first time meeting a Hall of Famer right here, Mr. Anthony Munoz. How was everything, man?
Great, Preston. How you doing?
I'm feeling great. I can't complain.
How can it not be going great with weather like this? You got a bunch of kids out at a camp. That's great.
Speaking of the camp, how did you start this awesome event for you?
Well, it's actually called the NFL Play 60 Character Camp. I've been doing camps like this in Cincinnati, where I live now, for about 16 years. So about 7 years ago, my son and I went to the league office and said, okay, you have this program, Play 60, great program, but we want to take that and we want to add character and team building. And they said, let's do it. So this is our 6th year. We've been in, I think, about 25 NFL cities. So we're going to teach them a little football, but we're also going to hit on character and team building.
You mentioned your mom, and I was reading a story. I don't know if this is true, but it said that you used to pick eggs with your mom back in the day on a farm.
Well, she worked at an egg ranch. She worked about 2 or 3 jobs to provide for her 5 kids. She raised us by herself, and she worked at an egg packing ranch. And so every so often they would get the new chickens in. So back then it wasn't, they didn't have the high tech stuff. So when they were young, we had some of our weekend jobs. So we'd go in from like 8 in the morning to 5 at night for 2 days on the weekend, and we'd have to round up these chicks so they could vaccinate them. So we would get like $2 an hour, man. We'd work, 8 hours, and we'd be loaded. We'd have like $32. But so we did that where she was working, and it was 2 days of work, and it wasn't every weekend, but it was like every 4 to 6 weeks.
Man, well, that's amazing. You already had that work ethic at that age, because a lot of us, youth now, we ain't trying to work like that. But you managed to do that, but not only that, you had a drive for working out as well. Were you running 2 to 4 miles a day and stuff?
Well, let's get back to my mom. I mean, a lady that's working 2, 3 jobs, and she's walking to work because we didn't have a car growing up, never had a car. So she's cooking food, she's cleaning. We would bring pillowcases of clothes from our teachers home. She would iron them, probably better than most dry cleaners. So right there, she didn't have to say a whole lot. So we learned work ethic. We learned responsibility. We all learned how to wash clothes and wash dishes and cook. So that carried over to when I got to high school, college, and the NFL. I knew in order to be the best, you had to be prepared. You can't just go out on Sunday and try to be the best player. So my off season, for an offensive lineman, I was a distance runner from about January to April. I'd run anywhere from 2, 4, 6 miles a day. And then once I got closer to camps, then I would incorporate interval training. Still did some distance, and even during the regular season, on Monday, Tuesday, and Friday, I'd run at least 2 miles a day just to keep my cardio going, in addition to the weight training and the intervals. So yeah, my whole philosophy was, right or wrong, I was going to be in better shape than the guy I was playing against. If we needed to drive 80 yards and to score a touchdown and win, I was going to be in better shape than you. Was that true? I don't know, but I believed it was.
So it wasn't luck. You literally prepared for where you wanted to go.
Well, I think you have to prepare. I mean, injuries occur even when you're in the best shape, and I went through those. But yeah, you just have to get ready, not only physically, but once I hit the NFL, it was mentally too. I mean, we spent a lot more time in the classroom preparing on technique, our opponents, so you had to be on top of that, because in my 13 years with the Bengals, I saw a lot of guys come in, and you look at them physically and say, oh my goodness, you want those guys to get off the bus first when you go into a city? But then they get into the classroom and they couldn't grasp it mentally. So I learned at a young age that you had to grasp it mentally in addition to physically. So it's, that's why in our camps, my mission statement at home in Cincinnati is impact young people mentally, physically, and spiritually. We try to really impact the total person.
And that's what I love about your organization, what you're doing all across the nation here. And I also wanted to ask, what are some success stories from youth that you have helped? Like, give me a couple that you could just to let everybody know this is working.
Well, we have a scholarship fund in Cincinnati. One of our go-to is we have a young lady who's about 4'6", 4'7", Alma. We give out $20,000 scholarship. She sat there and we asked her, well, what are your plans? She said, as a graduating senior, she said, I'm going to pre-med school, I'm going to med school, I'm going to come back to my community, and I'm going to be a doctor and help my community. Well, all she did is she was a 4.0 undergrad, pre-med. She's in her 2nd year at Harvard Med School. So you tell me she's not going to be a doctor and go back to her community. And then we have another young man who graduated back in Cincinnati. I think he's 25, 26. He had about 3 or 4 years out of college. We had our dinner this June, and he did a video because he wasn't in town. He was here in LA, and he's running 2 multi-million-dollar companies. I mean, this is a kid that's 25, 26 years old. So those are just a couple of the many stories.
So you telling me that youth can come here, play football. They don't necessarily have to go NFL. They don't have to play. This is bigger, almost than, not saying not bigger than NFL, but this is for your mind to
Totally.
wow.
So we have a president at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. His name's Dave Baker, and this is a great comment. He'll look at one of us. He refers to us as gold jackets. He says, do you think these gold jackets just fell out of bed and became Hall of Famers? He said, we're not about making, and here's what I love, here at this camp, we're not about making Hall of Fame football players. If that happens, we're here to make Hall of Fame people.
Yo, that was good.
So that's what it's all about in these camps with all these young men and women.
Well, that was amazing. Is there a place where they can find you online? Or?
Yeah, you can go to NFL.rush, NFLplay60.rush, and you find out all about these camps. And, we're doing this one. We have one more left this season, then we're going to Mexico with NFL Mexico for a week. And then hopefully next year we'll continue. We'll be back here in LA.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you guys for watching Fan Nation. This is Preston Pollard.